I spent 200 days in Stacklands as a noob. Like the intro said, I did complete the entire game. I have 100% of the achievements. I killed all the bosses and it was really fun to make this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get into the video. It all started with an empty field and a couple of guards. After looking around for a bit, I figured that my villager had to eat. Then I set him to work and put him on the rock. And after rock comes the stone, of course. And we unlocked a new pack. We collected some coins and we opened our new pack, which gave us a couple of trees and a berry bush. We completed a bunch of quests and after this it was time to feed our villager. And we started with Moon 2. I completed a couple of more quests and then I found an idea. I could finally build a house. I also started planting my own berries. This would make it much easier to feed my villagers. On the third moon, I built a house. And I unlocked a new pack called Seeking Wisdom to gain more wisdom. So I completed some more quests and I got some new ideas. And then I got something very important. I got my second villager. I had double the capacity to process resources. So I kept on grinding. I opened some more packs and I got a booster pack that would allow me to get weapons. And then I finally found out why I got weapons. One of the most vicious animals, a rabbit, emerged. I was also finally able to get my own stone by getting a quarry. Now that the workers finally had this means of production, we can help the economy grow. I mean, we can get more coins. Being a noob and not realizing I could sell the poop, I decided to kill the rabbit because I was stressing out about not being able to feed my villagers. After a couple of days, I finally made my first weapon. A slingshot. I also made a garden, which would help me grow food and actually keep my villagers healthy. I unlocked a new pack by giving my villager a slingshot. And I made a coin chest. And then I found a new animal. The chicken. And then I did something that I would later regret. I started reproducing them. And then a strange portal emerged. Possibly with enemies. A goblin came out and I had to send my militia in to deal with him. After killing him, I got a goblin head. And after that, we made a new villager. I started gearing up as there were soon to be more portals coming in. I then got a cow which would give me free milk the entire time. On day 16 it happened and a second the portal appeared. Will there be more enemies? The portal opened and a giant rat came out. There was only one enemy still this time. We slew the rat and we got a bow from it. It was time to get our first archer. A couple of days went past and I got my first new resource, iron ore. There had to be a way to smelt this. Days went by fast as I tried to keep my villagers alive and I unlocked a new pack. On Moon 20 it happened again and at least 3 goblin archers came out of the portal. I gathered up all my villagers and went to fight them head on. I thought this battle would last longer, but it didn't because we absolutely destroyed the goblin archers. I came across a skeleton and I managed to kill him. I got from him a sword, which would allow me to get a swordsman. A lot of moons went by and I was still struggling to get enough food each day. What I didn't know is that it wasn't necessary to keep someone on the lumber camp and the quarry each time of the day. What does result in me getting completely overwhelmed by the amount of resources I have. You can already see that I have way too much in the top right. But enough of the complaining, it was time for another portal, so I gathered my men, and there was a bear and a goblin in it. But both of them were pretty easily killed. Time was flying by, and as I got more and more ideas, I also got new weapons, including a magic blade, which gave me my first mage. I continued playing and another portal arose. Time to use my new army. I had different types of units and also better equipment. We were dealing a lot of damage and the portals were no match for our army at this time. Things were looking up, and with multiple gardens where I was growing apples and cows running around which gave me milk, my food was higher than ever and it only continued to increase, but also did my amount of cards. And well, let's just get right into that, because in the next 50 or so days I'd almost 7 or 8x my cards. We're gonna have to rewind a little bit, because in the meanwhile I didn't sit still. I got myself an iron mine, a smelter and a smithy, which means better resources and weapons. And when the new portal arose, we were more than capable of defending ourselves. To be seen right here. Okay, maybe that was a bit much for a battle so easily won, but as you can see, in the bottom half, we are definitely making an army. And while probably most of the experienced players knew exactly what I should be doing right now, I didn't, and that took me a lot of time to figure out. So I did what any sane person would do, I searched it up on the wiki. So with this newly acquired information, my villagers set out to kill this evil witch and go on to a crusade through the dark forest. We slew the first wave, but she wouldn't let us go just yet. We had to fight a second. Will there be more? After slaying a second wave, I was sure there were many more to come, and this could be the end of us right here. Not soon later, in the third wave, our first casualty had fallen. A militia had died to an elven archer. Even with casualties mounting, the villagers pressed on, as we were sure to eradicate this. The waves kept on getting larger. With multiple of my villagers killed, I fled the forest. One thing was certain, we were definitely coming back here to kill this witch. So I started gearing back up, and I got some new weapons. I tried out different combinations. I replaced my villagers that I lost, and I defended my realm because the waves kept on getting stronger. That last attack was a blunderbuss from last fight. It was gonna be very useful, as it was able to target more than one enemy at once. I started getting some ideas that I had no clue with what to do, like the broken bottle, the forest amulet, and other things that I couldn't make yet. But in hindsight, it was all obvious. You might think if you see this that it was all unorganized. And you were kinda right about that, except for one thing. To the right, we have all of our food related and warehouses. And to the left side, we have all of our production. Okay, but now let's get back to our main quest. Killing that damned witch. So we made a stable portal and we were now able to attack on our terms, not waiting for another portal to come through. Things were going well, and with defeating the first wave without any losses, we continued. We took our first casualty. A mage was the first to have fallen. Our pirate did something that I hoped for. He used his blunderbuss and killed 3 of the enemies. I decided not to take the risk and went back home. When I came back, I killed a couple of portals, I swapped out my gear, and I headed back out because I didn't take that many casualties. As you can see, I didn't have much variety anymore in my army. It consisted mainly of mages. Wait, we're still missing something. Cue the battle music. With only having taken 1 loss, I was ready to fight the next wave. And then something happened that I didn't foresee. The enemy pirate had a blunderbuss and he killed multiple of my villagers. I was in trouble now, as I was hurt. Things took a turn for the worst as another one of my mages fell to an ogre. One by one my villagers fell, and the witch mocked me as I blacked out. When I woke back up, I hoped that all my stuff would still be there, but all my equipment was gone, with the villagers that I also lost. Enraged with the losses that I took, I started building back up again. I started getting new villagers, new equipment, more chainmail and more weapons. And I also started to take out some of my animals, because it got too much for me at this point. And then I figured something out. The boat is used for sailing. It all started with a couple of cards. Okay, no, we're not doing that again. But we are on a new island. On this island, I didn't have berry bushes, but I had banana trees instead. It was a nice change to not get overwhelmed by the amount of cards that I had on the mainland. I started to learn how to survive on this island, and I got a couple of new ideas and new resources. I started doing the quests that were paired with this island. I think that my wizard got lonely because he intoxicated himself on the island. It was nice to see that at least someone was having fun playing this game. Then I got into a bit of trouble. As I was fighting an eel, a pirate boat showed up with a pirate, of course. I managed to defeat him, but it wasn't at any cost. I almost died myself and I should be looking to increase my numbers here. And then something happened. A monkey had spawned and I could use bananas to hire him. The only downside is that I have to pay him every day to be able to hire him. And we also reached Moon 100, so that means a small milestone. Fast forward a couple of days, things were looking up on the island. I made myself a fish trap and I was catching fish every day. I had multiple monkeys that were pooping so I could get more money. I started being able to get new resources. I got a gold bar and I was now able to make my own glass. I was sort of able to get a second villager. Was using the parrot on the pirate, I was able to make a friendly pirate. By doing so, I unlocked the last pack. Fast forward a couple of days, we got our second pirate and we were now kind of struggling with food, but we had a lot of parrots going around finding us berries that we could use for our fish trap. Days started to get by and I was struggling to find what I was supposed to be doing on this island. I made only a little progress. I got an aquarium, I got some fish traps again, but most of it was still the same, only now I had monkeys running around pooping everywhere. This island became the same as the mainland. It got way worse than when I started here. So after almost 20 days of laying around and doing nothing, it was time to focus. Cue the inspirational music. We started off by placing a smelter and being able to finally get some iron in. Okay, I kinda messed up and I didn't have enough food and one of my pirates died. But that isn't enough to stop us. We made a better boat. We got an animal pen so the monkeys would stop pooping everywhere. Things were getting better as I got a stove so I could make food much faster. I had almost already spent 33 days on this island and I didn't really know what I was doing at this point. But then it happened. I got a new idea. A sacred key, so there must be a sacred chest. So there was only one way to find out and explore the card packs. I also found the idea of a gold mine. I was now able to actually mine gold and smelt it. Fast forward 12 days and I had my own greenhouse. I was now able to produce my own crops and I had an organized system. To the left were all the resources, to the right the food producing things, and in the left upper middle we had the money producing pooping monkeys. If you want to return to the mainland, you have to pay the food in advance for the day. I made the mistake not to place all the cards I wanted to take with the pirate. So now I only returned with one single pirate and not having enough food to feed everyone the next day. So the only sensible thing was to go back and get my cards. So I killed some of the fish there, I put them on the stove and I headed back to mainland this time. Back on the mainland, I found an old tomb where I put a villager on, and it gave me the idea for a cathedral. I didn't know how important this item was just yet, but I was soon to discover. It was really nice not having to worry about food because I went way overboard on getting chickens. I started to build up my forces back again as I started giving equipment to my villagers. We are going to skip a couple of days forward in time and we were able to make the mountain amulet, which gave us +2 damage. I was also going to make the forest amulet. Both of these improve our villagers their combat stats, which is really important. In the meanwhile, we also completed the cathedral. I started crafting the forest amulet and as I improved my units more and more. So it was back to head into the portal, upgraded and ready to fight. Let's take on this evil witch. During the fight we took minimal casualties, but I wasn't planning on losing again, so I headed back to recover. So I prepped one of my villagers to fight the next day. I let them heal up with food and we went back in. This time we were going to kill the witch. Cue the even epicer battle music. After a long time of fighting, the witch was finally defeated as we had not let our comrades die in vain. But what I didn't know at the time is that this was only one of 4 bosses, so we still had 3 more to go, which was quite easy with such a strong army as I already had kind of the strongest gear in the game. So the hardest part for me was figuring out what to do now, which I in turn turned to the wiki to. Okay, so stay with me here for a second. The cathedral that I said was important was used for summoning a demon lord with an island relic. The island relic could be gotten by a sacred chest with a sacred key. The sacred chest could be found with a treasure map, and the treasure map was found on the 4th exploration of the cave. Now, that was a whole lot of explaining. I hope you like my TED talk. Okay, but for real, let's get back to the island and get the island relic. It was time again to open packs because I didn't have the cave yet. It didn't take me long to actually find the cave, so now it was time to get exploring. And like the wiki said, on the 4th day I got the treasure map. Now it was time to actually explore the treasure map. And there it was, the sacred chest. All we needed was a sacred key and we could finally open it. But because I had killed so many crabs, a mini boss had appeared, the mama crab. But to be honest, compared with all the other bosses, this was a walk through the park and we killed it quickly. But then I was finally able to craft the sacred key and we were finally able to actually open the sacred chest. And by doing so, I actually awakened the Kraken, which was a boss fight that I didn't know and wasn't said on the wiki. But nevertheless, I went on the hunt for all of the Kraken's tentacles, and one by one they fell to my battle-hardened soldiers. After killing the last tentacle, the Kraken itself appeared. but he was also no match for my villagers. The Kraken gave me a special weapon, and with the scale of the crab, the broom of the witch, and of course the weapon of the Kraken, I was finally able to return to the mainland with the island relic and open up the cathedral. I was ready for the final battle. So it was time to cue the final battle music as the Demon Lord appeared. No one was to be spared as I rounded up everyone who was willing to fight, even the dog joined in. And with killing the Demon Lord, I finished the game. Except for that I missed one boss, which was actually the normal demon. So it's kind of like I already killed this boss, but I have to go back and kill him as well. Nevertheless, we will. And with the killing of the demon, I completed 100% of the game. I got all the achievements. I killed all the bosses without the DLCs though. That's a good thing to note there. This video took me over 20 hours of making. I would really appreciate it if you guys did leave a like, a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.